Welcome to another video. Like promised in last week's video, we did the speedrun for absolutely gorgeous Anima weapons. One weapon which still battles for competition even among newer relics, and some of them are still my favorite weapon designs of all times. And how much time did it take to get all the stages until the last? Only and literally 3 hours and 48 minutes, while being live on Twitch and also not even on level 90 with my machinist, for which I did this whole relic hunting. Which means you can easily complete this in about 3 hours of extra time, because I'm really no speedrunner, nor have I focused on being super fast with it. And what does extra time mean, you might ask? Preparation, because this is the key to this weapon, basically consisting of the biggest poetic grind in Final Fantasy history, leading to a mindful preparation before actually starting the questline. So let me sum up all the things you need to know for keen preparation and tips for achieving your own speedrun. Yes, you can grind the weapon in the usual ways, and while you will be faster in receiving your weapon, you will have a whole lot of extra time to spend on grinding it. So my absolute recommendation is to do all the preparation aspects passively, while just playing the game's endgame, leveling, or basically all sorts of content, while investing each and every tombstone of Poetics into this grand scheme of preparation. If you cannot wait any longer, check out my Anima guide series featuring all steps in a detailed how to do it process. However, if you're not in a rush, let us start with spending Poetics for all these materials here. The whole procedure will be slightly cheaper if you already completed one Anima relic before, but the extra Poetics spent for the first run are not that much, so you can go either way but have to keep 500 Poetics extra for the enchanted archaic ink later. So like I said, if you're taking it this way, don't think about the best and most efficient ways to get each and every piece of special arms material, but for the way that lets you collect these passively by all the Poetics you get. So here's the overview of items required and the amount of Poetics needed. Singing clusters, for example, can also be received passively through the weekly and daily quests from these young ladies here, that only require you to take part in duty-related dailies and which can save you the whole singing cluster Poetics. Combined with the weekly quest found in Mordona called Gift of the Archmagus, that will grant you 1 ether oil per completion, demanding you to participate in each of the Crystal Tower raids, so another good method to get it done passively while cutting down some Poetics expenditures. And for those of you wondering, yes, you should optimally do this whole quest line when you already reach level 80 or 90 with the job participating, because that makes everything much faster, and I can only recommend to continue leveling or with your MSQ before starting this quest line. If all this is prepared and you collected the exact items from the list I presented, you can finally start with the quest, found in either Azazla from Ardashir or from Rowena in Idleshire if you have never done it before. The first step, Soul Without Life, then will require you to collect all sorts of luminous crystals from Fates and Heavensward, and above basically doing exactly this, you only need 1 crystal per zone. So whenever you got one, switch over to the next area. And while doing this, some areas only offer low level fates, but whenever you see fates at level 56 or higher, do these instead, because of basically item level syncing reasons, leaving you with much more power than on lower level fates. On top of that, if you got the memory step from Bozja, take down 2 birds with 1 stone, or crystal. After that is done, you're going to run down all sorts of A Realm Reborn dungeons, as well as some early Heavensward ones. Make sure to run these unrestricted, having your job's endgame power available to blast through these dungeons. And while you might still be able to one-shot everything, it could be useful to grab your endgame weapon here and equip your relic weapon before leaving the dungeon. Just make sure that you remember. And don't worry, these 2 steps consume a lot of time, but if you got the Poetics preparation done in advance, things will speed up very nicely. Next up, coming into its own.
Why do you come?
Which takes us to Mordona and requires us to trade in 10 of each unidentifiable items, as well as 4 titanium alloy mirror, 4 king cakes, 4 adamantite Francescas, and 4 dispelling arrows that can be received from either the market board or for 5k company seals per item. Just make sure to keep at least 60,000 company seals for Pneumite later for saving up on Poetics again. Finding your voice, which requires us to collect 5 ether oils, either by spending 350 Poetics per item or by completing the weekly quest from this cat lady. After that, we got another material step with a dream fulfilled. Here you need to spend roughly 55 crystal sands and 55 umbrites, which are a bit RNG dependent, so these numbers might vary for you, which means make sure to have some Poetics left as backup for this step. The sand can be received in multiple ways, so check out which of these seems to be reasonable for you. My best bet is to have blue crafter scripts available that can be farmed in 3 to 4 minutes with a high level crafter. But if you haven't got this available and have no single clue about any of the other methods, check out my detailed guide found in the description. However, we figured out a recent bug with this step, so if you cannot trade in your weapon at any follow-up stage to this one, make sure to reallocate the stats again, which won't require you to spend more materials, but just reorder the stats, fixing the bug for most people. Next up we got Future Proof, demanding us to collect 50 singing clusters that optimally you should have farmed via the weekly and daily quest offered by these two ladies, but surely you can get these from Poetics as well, so in either way trade them into Blamprest and return to Ardashir. After the whole big trade section, the next quest, Born Again Anima, will take us back into 3 dungeons as well as the big light farm section. But we figured out, with at least 1 or 2 level 90 characters helping out, this doesn't take more than half an hour. So first run down these dungeons unrestricted again, where having your Anima relic inside of your inventory is perfectly fine and you can take the full power of your endgame weapon with you. Afterwards, team up with whoever has 20 or 30 minutes to spend with you, grinding down Alexander, the Eyes of the Creator, in its Savage difficulty, while having the weapon equipped while fighting the boss. Yes, no cheesy way around this time. You at least have to bear the burden of weakness through the Anima weapon. However, that doesn't count for any helpers, or if you form up a party with other people working on their Anima weapons, then of course this counts for them as well. But it won't take that long, especially if you have already reached level 90. Just make sure to keep your Anima glass to your side to track your progress and turn it into the node once this message pops up. Above that, you can run this step solo, but it will take you much longer, so definitely check out the light reward overview on Consolegameswiki.com, or just straight go for A9S, being by far the fastest solution. Hereafter you also need 15 pneumites, received either through Tomestones of Poetics 100 per item or 4k company seals per item, which I highly recommend to spend here, as these can easily be received by sorting out your inventory via expert delivery. And remember, the NPC won't grant you the option to trade in Poetics at this step before you haven't reached the stage once already, where on the company seals part you can prepare it even without having access to the quest. Turning it in then will already grant you the sparkling Anima relic of your job choice that only gets altered by some bonus effects on a different color tone. Nonetheless, you should continue, because then you will get access to all the previous stages as glamour replicas and the final steps are dealt with in 10 minutes. Just queue up for all the trials unrestricted again, swap weapons before leaving the encounter, and spend your last 500 Tomestones of Poetics against one enchanted archaic ink that you cannot prepare and stockpile before having unlocked the stage of the quest. So for Anima relic hunting newcomers, make sure to have 500 Poetics left for this last step. And there it is, your Anima weapon, and access to all the stages you unlock during this journey as replicas, received from this restoration node as well as the Anima pet. So make sure to check out my showcase video for which job you think all of this prepping and old content grinding is worth it, and if you like, film your own speedrun to compete against mine, which is really easy to beat, but I had a lot of fun in doing it. Thanks to all those participating, and have fun with one of the best looking weapons this game has to offer for many jobs. Until next time, stay safe, use your Poetics for special arms items, and keep loving Final Fantasy.